Hey guys, First Guardsman here, and so I'll be talking about a heroic heavy bolter build for the heavy class in Space Marine 2 Patch 12. Now, the main idea behind this build is using the perk here, Wrath of the Imperium. When Iron Halo expends all of its energy, enemies in a 10-meter radius take significant damage. This perk is actually pretty good. I do enjoy using this one, mainly because it lets you one-shot Majoris when it actually goes off. The big problem with Wrath of the Imperium is that you have to have your Iron Halo expend all of its energy. If you do not do that, if you turn off your Iron Halo, if your Iron Halo breaks for like any reason, you won't get the perk effect, so that does kind of suck. But when it does go off in like a proper Horde clump, it does feel pretty good, so I'm using that today. Now, for our primary weapon here, I do take the Heroic Heavy Bolter, mainly because the Heroic Heavy Bolter is the only heavy weapon in the game that has a fencing parry window, and the heroic perk effect here is called Reinforced Gun Casing. Perfect parry window increases by 50% after a gun strike. The weapon is completely cooled. This is an amazing perk effect, but there's also one more hidden mechanic here where basically the fire rate or the maximum fire rate of your gun has no charge up time at all in this version, kind of just making it the de facto best heavy bolter in the game currently. I would pretty much always take the heroic variant over the relic tier options just because of that fencing window and that startup time, so definitely the best option at the moment. Now, for the perk tree, I take the perk Fast Venting first, moving here to the perk Perfect Cooling. Then I grab the perk here, Increased Capacity, down here into Headhunter, and then I pick up the most important perk here with Heavy Immunity. While in Heavy Stance, you do not lose control from heavy hits. You pretty much always want this on any heavy stance weapon in the game. Without this, you will get staggered, you will get stun locked. That feels awful on any weapon, but especially a heavy bolter, so make sure to pick this up. The next perk here is Adamant Restoration. When your health drops below 30%, your ammo reserve is restored by 25% of the maximum capacity. Cannot exceed maximum ammo capacity. The cooldown is 30 seconds. Now, being around 30% HP on a heavy class is really not too bad, mainly because you have the perk here, Fortitude, and the other perk down here, Conviction, for a 25% health damage reduction. These two perks combined make you very tanky on this guy, so having that does make it pretty easy to kind of like sit around 30% HP and just trigger this over and over, so really good option for him. Next perk here is Heavy Might, over here into the perk Heavy Might again for a total of a 30% damage increase in heavy stance. You pretty much always pick this up because it's just free damage, because 99% of the time you will be firing a heavy stance weapon in your heavy stance. Next perk here is Discipline. A 25% damage increase at low ammunition is very substantial, so definitely pick this up. Next perk here is Fast Venting, moving up here into the perk Increased Capacity, and the final perk Great Might. Now, alternatively, you could skip over these two and go down here for Perpetual Cooling into the perk Divine Might for a bit more damage, but I do kind of prefer the increase in ammunition here, so I would pick this one up personally, but that is up to you. Now, for the secondary option here, I do take the Inferno Pistol. This is an amazing weapon in Patch 12. They buffed up the gun strike damage by like 22%. It feels way better now, and I was already kind of a fan of this weapon anyways, but like now it's no longer just shooting pure confetti. Now, for the perk tree on this, I do take the perk Perpetual Range first, moving here into the perk Brace Reload. Then I grab the perk here, Perpetual Range again, up into the perk Great Might. And then I pick up Increased Capacity and once again Adamant Restoration. So it's actually a nice little synergy on the heavy class where if you get below the 30% HP threshold, you are getting ammunition back for both your primary and secondary. So running out of ammo on the heavy, pretty damn hard with this setup. And the final perks here are Extra Shot and Trick Shot for additional armor, because getting one armor back is actually pretty damn good, especially on a secondary weapon. That's pretty much all there is for the weapon setup. Now, for the heavy perk tree, unfortunately, the heavy still doesn't have like the best perk variety in the game. Most of his options are like pretty one note, but the first one we take here is Restoration. Killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores an armor segment. The cooldown is 15 seconds. One armor back on a 15-second cooldown is a top tier effect in Space Marine 2 already, but it's also top tier here because the other two options kind of suck, especially this one. Next perk here is Fortitude for health increase of 30%, moving here to the perk Overwhelming Power. When Iron Halo is active, all team members within 10 meters deal 10% more range damage. This is just a nice little range damage buff for you and your teammates. Now, if you want to take like Versatility or even the perk up here, Enhanced Force, you definitely can, but Overwhelming Power is currently my preferred. Next perk here is Encompassing Aegis for a 25% range damage reduction for your entire team. Range damage reduction will affect your armor, not just your HP, so having this on top of armor restoration effects like Focus Restoration on Bulwark or your own Restoration perk is pretty damn strong, though alternatively you could pick up additional supplies or even Bonds of Brotherhood. Next perk here is Emperor's Protection. When Iron Halo expends all its energy, one armor segment is restored for all team members. This is probably the worst option in this whole column here, but still pretty fun, especially since this will trigger the moment you use your Wrath of the Imperium perk, which is like the whole reason I take it here. Because like, let's say for example, a bunch of Tyranids and then you blow them all up with your Wrath of the Imperium, and now you have 1 armor back in case anything's shooting you from like awkwardly standing there, which is a pretty funny little effect. Maybe not the best, but pretty interesting synergy. Next perk here is Obdurate Bastion. Iron Halo's durability increases by 20%. If you are using Wrath of the Imperium, you definitely want this perk, because if your Iron Halo breaks for whatever reason, you will not trigger this at all, and you have to wait for like the entire cooldown of your Iron Halo, which kind of sucks if you're kind of like, you know, battering ram an enemy. Next perk here is, of course, Wrath of the Imperium for the reasons I previously mentioned. Then I move up here into the perk Offensive Capability. This is already my preferred option on the heavy class anyways, because Offensive Capability is just a really good utility perk. It will wipe out Spore Mines, it'll wipe out Bramble, it'll wipe out Cultists instantaneously. Really good for that, but especially on this build with Wrath of the Imperium, you are usually like 2 feet away from an enemy anyways, because this perk requires you to be, you know, within a 10-meter radius, so having this 5-meter radius damage over time effect on top of that, that's a pretty good synergy there, so I would definitely pick this one up. Now, for our Prestige perk options, I do take Auxiliary Reload first. Melee kills of extremist or higher enemies destroy preference ammo by 1 magazine. This is just a nice perk to have for ammo economy. You could skip over this in like operations and hard strats if you're playing with a good team, but usually I just like slap this on any build I possibly have for heavy. Next perk here is Conviction. When your armor is fully depleted, you take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. This is a top tier damage reduction perk effect in Space Marine 2 for any class, but especially here with your 30% HP increase like I talked about before, you want to pick this up pretty much all the time because you become absurdly tanky with this perk on. Next perk here is Indomitable Spirit. While performing a gun strike, you don't lose control from heavy hits and you cannot be knocked back. The heavy doesn't have that much no knockback out of heavy stance, so having this option does prevent you from getting stun locked occasionally, so you definitely want this. And the final perk here is Duelist. Perfect parry and perfect block windows increased by 25%. This just makes your fencing window like diabolical with how like wide the actual window here is for your perfect parry. You already have a 50% not HP increase. You have a 50% parry window increase here on top of this 25%, which means that you are actually one of the easiest classes in the entire game to parry with this active. So a really good option here, and that's pretty much all there is for the heavy class. Or more importantly, all there is for this build. Now, Wrath of the Imperium is lesser used. Hopefully this build gave you an idea of how you want to actually run this. I will show gameplay of this build in action, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more. If you want to watch me live to ask me questions about the game, or just come hang out, you can find me here on YouTube or on Twitch with a link in the video description, alongside a link to my community Discord. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye. Oh, we are about to get a value Wrath of the Imperium here. Oh, look at this. I just want it to go off. There we go. That not suck anymore. Explosive payload insufficient. Source additional more gear. That silence too deep. Explosive payload insufficient. Source additional more gear. Oh, it's so free. Contested HP, nothing contested about it. Majority of community can't do absolute properly, so what a joy leveling is in Space Marine 2. That's true. What I said in my last video yesterday, that unless you have like an Auspex Arnold on your team, who just auto Auspexes every boss for you and picks up every single gene seed, and like you're a normal player, you're probably not going to be spamming absolute over and over and over. Kind of ridiculous to think he would be. Hey FTG, been watching you since the game came out. Love your video. Thanks for all the builds. No problem, Samuel. There will be many more in patch 13. And I'll probably finally finish my class guides too. Got 3 left.
You failed that ultra.
Do you prefer doing solo missions or playing online with people solo? I have always preferred doing solo in this game. I just think the game's too fucking easy in most of its content for groups.
Our boat shall fellow the going boat stay alert.
Siege mode is the only one I like running with other people. Then you really need to work together. I don't feel like there's much coordination required in like the hard strats and stuff like that. You just kind of go around and like kill everything independently.
Monstrosity may escape the Imperium's wrath. Charge primed. Searching rounds. Our enemy brings forth more of its foul kind.
Oh, fucking shit, dude. That was not fucking unblockable there. I'm not gonna lie. Just zoned out. I don't know why I was betting on my Wrath of the Imperium so hard there. I was like, guys. I'm in danger. AFTG, is rumors true about the redacted chapter will be another Salamir champion? I don't know. Did you look at the roadmap? Or my 3 videos on the roadmap? Or my community posts on the roadmap? I don't know how you found the stream. Okay. Yes, it's all true. All of it.
We crush the ravenous brood. This ravenous tunnel.
You know, Saber put out a video of them reading the community post, but nobody watched that shit. He'll probably be driving all there. Yes, range spam, I love it. Next time I'm ever champion will be sniper again? Probably not. They'll probably be heavy. I think they're doing it again because they know. I think the only reason they gave it to Sniper originally is because they wanted a community-line poke. Like, you gotta think, in year 1, this game's drift was so shit compared to now. Like, actually hilarious how much better it is now. The game is so much better. Fucking A.
Support mind. Ambush prepared, Captain. The Hive Tyrant will reach your position shortly.
Man, Wings of Flame is so much more entertaining in this build.
And lure that Xenos Colossus into the kill zone.
Okay. It's still so undercooked, though. I mean, the customization in this game is pretty fucking good, and that's about to get way better. What part of it do you think's undercooked?
Keep them off guard.
I would say, like, the customization in this game is over twice as good as it was at launch. Do you have a release date on patch 13 or a suspected release date? We know it'll come out before the end of June. So it'll probably come out later this month. We know for a fact it has to come out by the end of June. But it is at the end of quarter 2. Which, like, early June, maybe. Like, you never know. That's when they released the last one with, like, the Siege Mode update. So, probably.
We've got a handle on these probing strikes, my lords. It's the relay that's getting hammered right now. Xenos Overlord is inbound. Prepare for intense combat. That's news. Without armor support to tackle a target that big, we may have to bring down the supply bridge. Charges are armed and in place.
Do you prefer playing the base game or you dabble into monsters and Starry's Overhaul? I prefer the base game. I think the Starry's Overhaul balance is super boring. It's just way too easy in the Starry's Overhaul.
Understood, my lord. May the Emperor guide our lasguns to your support. Incoming! Ready up, 8th. Show the Emperor's angels what we are made of. Swarms on the bridge. Xenos on the bridge.
Do you think Year 3 will have bigger and better updates? Probably. I mean, I imagine Year 2 did way better than Year 1. So, yeah. I would say so. Stop. That sucked my heavy sand for a second. No, I think, I'll make a video about this, talking about what you can expect in Year 3, but Year 3 will probably be bigger than Year 1 and 2. Because this game has only been getting more and more players over time.
Give the Hive Beast a moment. Detonate the charges now.
Thoughts on Heavy getting a melee option? Do you think it'll ever happen? I think Heavy should get a combat knife. I mean, that's tabletop accurate, right, chat? If they add a Storm Bolter, that'd be fire. I mean, I don't think they're gonna add a Storm Bolter. I think the secondary SMG we're getting is probably all you can really expect.
The swarm would go feral without their connection to the hive mind, but their focus is still on
Maybe we will, though. Never know.
Reports confirm the
Not
lieutenant's
impossible.
assessment. Enemy cohesion still in full effect.
Year 3 paid content like they did for World War Z. Oh, actually, tell me about that, Fridge. Was there a Year 3 of, like, paid content in World War Z for, like, actual gameplay content?
I see it trying to dig itself out.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing Saber has done? Because that actually explains a lot in this game of what we can expect. Because there was a very on-the-nose thing they said in their,
Crack grenade, unleash.
Storm Vulture Heroic. They might do Heroic for the Storm Vulture on, like, the automatic SMG we're getting. You never know. Yeah, Fridge, I know you played a lot of World War Z, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. Was it year 6? Walking Dead, I think the year 3 was Aftermath for paid content, had new class and levels. Did they make you pay for the actual content in the game beyond cosmetics, though? I wonder.
The Imperium provides.
There was a line in the community update where they said all the year 3 stuff will roll over for free, or like all the missing year 2 stuff will roll over for free, but there's nothing on the year 2 roadmap that was missing from the updated one that wouldn't have been free, or like those cosmetics anyways. So it makes me wonder if we're about to see. Oh my goodness.
Pursue and eliminate. We will not have a better opportunity to finish it off.
That was a nut melter. Yeah, it was paid for the class and staged as a package. And stages as a package. Did they ever add it? Was all the other stuff cosmetic DLC in that game, or is that unique to this game? Because I have a sneaking suspicion, like, they might monetize this game more heavily in the future, which would be okay as long as they give us more content. I don't know, how do you guys feel about more paid DLC in Space Marine 2? If it meant more frequent updates. Like actual gameplay content being paid for, not just cosmetics. I mean, I talked to Indy about this before, and he was like, he was shocked that the tech was free. He's like, a new class is something that like most people would be willing to pay for, yet they still release it for free, which tells me that their monetization must be doing very well on the cosmetics you have. I got robbed there, something. There would have to be way more quality updates. But what do you consider a quality update? Oh, this is it, guys. Look at that. It's free. That's a pretty good ability when it works.
We crushed the Revenant. No lines of fire. Continue pursuit. Deploying shock. No Zoan focus.
You can't keep them here because they'll stop in the shock area.
That side. Fresh magazine.
Yeah, getting all of your shots randomly stopped by these guys is never not annoying, but I'll say that. I think they would alienate 2/3 of the player base. They put a new op behind a wall, about like a new class. What if the classes were better? What if they made you pay to unlock a new weapon? I don't know, guys. I feel like, you know, if they like a weapon pack. Okay, so say, what if instead of one new melee weapon, you got 2 new melee weapons, so it costs you $5? Would you pay for that?
Reload.
Would you pay for that on top of the cosmetic content if it meant also like y'all like a little bit more free updates?
Tell us a report.
I think just cosmetic is better. It's probably better for this player base because Space Marine 2's player base already complains about cosmetic DLC, like relentlessly.
Nothing but static now. Is this the dead zone? Maintain squad cohesion.
I don't think we get an aftermath-sized update, to be honest. I mean, Space Marine 2 is a much more popular game than World War Z is, so we probably would. I don't think Saber's the worst company ever. I actually think they're pretty consumer-friendly in their business model, except for like that one voice pack DLC. But like compared to like even, I mean, they don't have a parent company like Tencent, so there's that.
Locate an exit. One day is over. Closer to food. Guns! We must not be allowed to fire.
That was a lot.
Seen us fit will no longer
A lot of Biowars today. A lot of Zone first, actually. Very slippery slope because either 1, pay to win weapons, 2, weapon is not stronger than others, and then what's the point of it? I feel like those questions would come up with any DLC ever that has weapons, though.
keep going forward.
There would be a far greater expectation on hotfixes and balancing patches if they did release weapons for money, and also class perks, which is probably why they've kept the game cosmetics. That's a good point to bring up. I mean, I think it is probably in Saber's best interest to keep the game just a cosmetic pay DLC, because then you don't bring into that conversation of are they only releasing this because money? Are they making is this weapon strong, one of the best in the game because it's money? And I would make a build guide for something. Be like, hey guys, this weapon's the best. Hey guys, this weapon's the best again. You should use it on this one. And I don't have that, so it probably isn't the best to keep these things. It's gameplay content. Or, excuse me, as cosmetic content.
Multiple on top. That silence too.
Epic. Yeah, Helldivers has that issue. So many weapon packs, people already know what to save for and what is absolute garbage. That's true. Payday 2 kind of had that as well. But, like, the best builds in that game, in a lot of cases, were just from pay-to-win content, basically. But also, they drip-fed their player-base content like that for so long that people almost got used to it. Okay. Ammo.
Pack a little more bite. Get over the way, Theo.
I'm not sure how long this boss fight can take on heavy. Granted, we're on a hard strat, so. This boss has a lot of fucking HP these days. Like, back in the day, they buffed his HP up at the end, and they buffed it again. In, like, patch 8 or something like that. And ever since then, he's been a big, fat, gold sponge. Which he should be, he's a hive tyrant. There we go. That was a lot of Extremis. 39 Extremis. Super fun.